So, this is my persuasive speech, and that's my crowd over there. I don't want to move the camera, but say hello.
Hi.
Okay. So, today I'm going to be talking to you about how FHA loans are the best loans that you can get when you're buying a house as a consumer. There are lots of loans out there, and I personally think FHA is the best, and I'm going to give you a multitude of reasons why. So, to start, I want to talk to you about how home mortgage rates are the lowest today that they've ever been in 60 years. In 60 years! It's a good time to buy a house, people. 60 years. And that's from Kravitz, 2011. And I believe that's from the Christian Science Monitor. A little bit of background. The current state of the housing market. The average house price before 2008 was $300,000. And that's from Christie, 2008. And that was CNN Money says home prices in the steepest quarterly drop. The current average house price in the U.S. is $152,000. And that is from Schmidt, 2013. And that is from USA Today. And that's from 2013. If I didn't say that, but I think I did. Okay. So my thesis statement, there's no better way to get this out there than just to read it verbatim, so that's what I'm going to do. Because the general population doesn't know enough about getting a home loan, I plan to persuade them to use the FHA's home loan program by talking about the different types of loans available to them, down payment requirements between different loans, and FHA's 203K rehabilitation program. So first, I want to start by talking about different loan types available to the average home buyer. We'll start with talking about the VA loan. The requirements for a VA loan, you got to have a good credit rating, just like any other loan. You want people to give you money, you need good credit. Kind of self-explanatory there. You need lower than 30% debt to income ratio after the loan. So that would say all your monthly debts plus your mortgage payment would need to be less than 30% of your gross income. Would need to be equal to. You get what I'm saying there. It's only open to owner-occupants, so you can't use it to buy a second house, a vacation house, or anything like that. And your property must not require renovations. If there are any repairs, they have to be done before closing by the seller. They can't be done by the buyer. One restriction, it's only available to veterans of the armed forces. So you got to be either active duty or a vet. Conventional home loans. They have very, very lenient requirements. All you need is a good credit rating. There's no cap on the income ratio. It all depends on the lender. There aren't any restrictions for conventional loans. It's really just from lender to lender what they'll give you money for. If you need to do repairs, sometimes that'll be taken into consideration, but a lot of lenders won't do that. An FHA loan. The requirements, you gotta have a good credit rating. The debt-to-income ratio moves up to 50% now, which I think is pretty normal because I spend about 50% of what I make on rent anyway. Don't we all? Yay, college students. It's only open to owner-occupants. And for a regular FHA loan, you can't have renovations needed on your property. That changes with the 203K loan, but we get into that later. And there aren't any restrictions for an FHA loan. You don't need to be a special class of person and anything like that. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the down payment requirements between the three big types of loans. A VA loan, you could actually get a loan with no down payment. You walk into a bank, sign on the paper, sign on the dotted line, pay your $1,000 origination fee, and bam, you got a house. And there's a reason for that, because when all the GIs were coming home, they didn't have anywhere to go, anywhere to live, and we wanted to create economic prosperity. We created the VA home loan program. And it got a lot of GIs into a lot of places, and it created prosperity for the middle class. That's back in the 40s. Anyway, moving on to conventional loans. Conventional loans are something that probably won't be open to most people our age because of strictly their purchase. They require a down payment of 20% of the purchase price. And if you want to buy a $100,000 house, 20%, that's 20 grand. A lot of money to just cough up. Although, if you take all the tuition aid you can, tuition assistance you can, and maybe just forget to sign up for classes, you might be able to do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. For an FHA loan, it's the second lowest of the bunch. It's typically 3 to 5% of the purchase price, and it can be as low as $100 on certain properties. And last but not least, I want to talk about FHA's 203K rehabilitation program. It allows you to bundle the cost of rehabilitating a home in with the costs for purchasing said home. It's the only program of its kind, and it's only offered by the FHA. There are no other programs like this out there. There is a program called the Repair Escrow, but that's kind of weird and doesn't really do what you want it to do. It's not nearly as good as the 203K. The one limitation of a 203K, it can only be used for up to $15,000 of repair costs associated with your home purchase. There are two types. The first is streamlined. You only need minor repairs. You need to replace a refrigerator, you need to replace a furnace, you need to replace a water heater. And you can expect to close a streamlined 203K loan in about 45 days. And then the standard 203K loan, it means you need major repairs, like the foundation's cracked or something wrong with the structure of the home. And in that case, it can take months. We're talking 4 to 6 months to complete closing on a house. And that's from the time you say, I want to buy your house, 4 to 6 months until you move in. So in conclusion, just a quick summary of what I've talked about here. Talked about the different loan programs available to the general public, the VA, the conventional, and the FHA. We've talked about the down payment requirements of each. And we've also talked about the FHA special 203K rehabilitation loan program. In conclusion, I want to urge you to look into the FHA and all their loan options should you decide to buy your first home now or in the future. They have very low down payment requirements. Special incentives if you're a firefighter, policeman, teacher, or anything else. And their main goal is to put people like us, fresh out of college kids, into homes. Thanks for listening.